All right, LSU and South Carolina Saturday night in Tiger Stadium. I know LSU has just been chewing on the Ole Miss loss now for 2 weeks, and everyone's ready to see if this offense maybe can break out. Is Garrett Nussmeier closer to health after they shut him down during the bye week? Can the Tigers get the run game going? Do we see more of Carius Kern? What we haven't talked about really is LSU's defense, because at this point, that's a known commodity. If you watched the Ole Miss game, look, you can look at a box score and see 480 yards or whatever it was, but if you watch that game, LSU's defense did an outstanding job. They were just dragging because they were on the field for 84 plays. The offense did a terrible job of running the football, trying to possess the football and playing a complementary style, and that's because they threw it 34 times and ran it 22. We've been over it a million times. By now, you know all the numbers. The question is, as you move through this game and through the remainder of the season, is LSU playing to win games, or are they playing to win a championship? You can roll your eyes and laugh at that all you want, but you have a championship caliber defense. We would all agree on that. And you have a championship caliber special teams unit. You have a quarterback that in an SEC season threw for 4,000 yards, and you have skill guys everywhere that have proved they're not maybes. It's not off-season hype. They have done it at this level. The one component you do not have playing at a high level is your offensive line, and it's what we've talked about all offseason. This is an opportunity against another league opponent, like 2 weeks ago against Ole Miss, to prove that you're making progress. The key to whatever LSU might be playing for in November is that offensive line continuing to get better. Can they do it against South Carolina? For me, what I want to see when this game is over is I want to open up the box score, and I want to see a 50-50 distribution of run and pass. Because if LSU commits to running the football, and I'm not saying they got to go run for 180 yards. What I'm telling you is if they make a commitment to running the football and make South Carolina or whoever they play respect it, respect the possibility that they will run the football, then teams are not going to be able to drop 7 or 8 into coverage. And all of this works together in tandem. If now you have to bring the linebackers closer to the line of scrimmage, you can't play too high safety, you can't drop 7 or 8 into coverage, now all of a sudden Garrett Nussmeier has cleaner passing lanes. One of your outstanding receivers, Chris Hilton, Aaron Anderson, Nick Anderson, Berrien Brown, Xavier Thomas, whoever it is going to find themselves in man coverage. Trey'Dez Green. And I like those guys' opportunity to win one-on-one matchups against overmatched secondaries. And Ole Miss was an overmatched secondary. Ole Miss gave up 500 yards of offense to Arkansas. And there were plays to be made. We've gone through plenty of them where LSU had plays to be made down the field and they didn't make them. But I think a big reason why they didn't, you can blame Nuss's health or whatever. I'm not here to have that conversation. We've had it plenty. But you've got to give Nussmeier time to throw. You've got to give him clean passing lanes because he's proven throughout his career he's capable of doing that. Now, that's the big picture. This game in particular is a pretty easy one to handicap because if you're looking at this and going, man, why is LSU with that offense a 9.5-point favorite, then you have not watched South Carolina play. I have, and they are bad. A year ago, that team had an outstanding defense with NFL players on it. Kyle Kennard was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. He's gone. Tonka Hemingway was a really good interior defensive tackle. He's in the NFL. Nick Emenwari was a top 50 pick in the NFL draft. Like, you have NFL talent on that defense a year ago for South Carolina that's no longer there. And you have an offense that has not figured out how to replace Rocket Sanders. And then you also are down 3 starting offensive linemen in this game against LSU against a very good, explosive, athletic front. For all the conversation about Lenore Sellers, and I joke and call him Rex Bex and all that sort of stuff. At 6'3", 240, we know he's a freak athlete. He's an outstanding athlete. But the reality is with Lenore Sellers, he has never been a consistent passer. He's got a big arm. He's never been a consistent passer. And when teams are selling out to stop him from beating him with his legs, he hasn't been able to do it. Lenore Sellers on the season through 5 games has rushed for 98 yards. Now he's got more than 100 yards lost in sack yardage, but he's got 1 rushing touchdown. It was the first offensive possession of the season for South Carolina against Virginia Tech. He scored a rushing touchdown, has not scored a rushing touchdown since. And I don't know that a night game in Tiger Stadium against that LSU defense is the remedy for what ails you offensively if you're South Carolina. I think this is a game where if Carolina is affecting the scoreboard, it's because they're able to do it with their defense and their special teams, which they're very good at. They have 6 non-offensive touchdowns on the season, which is why they're even ranked 100th in the country in scoring offense because of their non-offensive touchdowns. So I don't think Carolina is going to be able to move the ball effectively, efficiently, and challenge LSU. But I'm also not going to pick LSU to do that either. I'm at this point where after you weren't able to move the ball against a bad Ole Miss defense, I have to see you do it before I pick you to do it. They have the athletes on the outside and the quarterback that have proven they can, but until you do this year, I'm not picking you to do it. I think LSU wins this game, and I do think they win it by double digits, but I don't think it's going to be this score fest like we might be hoping to see. Give me LSU 27-17 to beat South Carolina in Tiger Stadium, and they'll head to Nashville next week to take a crack at Vandy on the road.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.